We're going to be talking about, oops, hold on a moment. I just noticed something about my audio. Can you hear me okay? Because it just notified me that my audio changed. Let's see. We're going to go to the mic. How about this? Does this sound okay? Okay, so we're going to be talking about be the change you want to see in the world. I'm excited about this topic because it has quite a deep meaning when you really dive into it. That's what we're going to do today. And I really want to leave room for questions today. I really want to connect with your hearts and hear what you have to say. So if you're watching here right now, think of questions along the way that you'd like to ask and then post them. Be sure to copy them and paste them again if I don't answer them, because it's my will to answer as many as I can. So good to see you here. Okay. So why did I choose the topic today, be the change that you want to see? Because I think that the perception is, and you can challenge me or give me your opinion, but I think the perception today is that things are changing rapidly and that things are kind of out of control. Would you agree? Yes or no? Yes, happy Saturday. Happy Saturday, Holly. Happy Saturday, Mary, Shelley, Maria, Karen, Craig, all of you. Okay, so the perception is, I believe, from what I'm seeing and what I'm hearing, is that things are really changing. Hi, Yvonne, you made it. Yay. That things are really changing rapidly and they're kind of out of control. I'm here to share some profound and deep truths and secrets for you to make your life easier and to help you get along your day, your week, your year, and your life easier. So I've really been thinking about all of this, and I took some notes down to make sure that I hit every point that I thought about throughout the past couple of days. I've been profoundly touched and inspired by integrity, truth, and the things that actually stay the same. And one thing that never changes is the truth, is God's truth, and our desire for God to love us. So that's something we can depend on in any time, any period of time in the world. But I'm here to tell you something interesting, that times have been changing quickly for every generation and for every era. It just seems as though it's happening very rapidly here. In part, it's because we are so informed. We are informed through the internet, we're informed through television, radio. There are so many mediums for us to get informed. It's almost like we can't help but get informed about what's happening. Nothing ever new under the sun. That's a good one, Shelley. Okay, I did get ready kind of quickly. I let time escape because I sent out an email. Did you guys get my email? By the way, I am going to be releasing a really cool interview, an NDE interview with Barbara Ireland, as well as a spiritually transformative experience with Paula Lenz, as well as I've decided a lot of people have asked me, how do you start your channel? I want to start a channel, and they have a lot to say. So I've decided to re-release my YouTube course called YouTube for Influencers. Anyways, if you want to know about any of the stuff I'm doing behind the scenes, my recommendation is to go to my website, silviaisachsen.com, sign up to my newsletter there, and I send out a newsletter. So maybe, Shelley, if you could post my website URL. It's not a huge website right now. I'm always promising myself that I'm going to go do it, but I love talking to you guys better. Okay, so back to the changing times. One of the things that makes us feel powerless with all this change is that we feel that we don't have any influence or input, or what we feel, think, and do doesn't matter. And when you think about the word matter, it means materialize. So we feel that we are not significant and that we don't play a role in what's happening in our lives. And I'm here to tell you some good news. You are valuable. You do matter. The things that you think can materialize and do materialize. But what we want to do is we want to yield or wield, I should say, that energy in a more focused and direct way, so the things that we think and feel and we are being is more concrete, more solid, makes the change that we want to see in the world. Thanks, Shelley. So how do we do that? I've been thinking a lot about that. And why does it even matter? Can we actually affect change? Can we be the change that we want to see? Yes, yes, and yes. And actually, it's part of our purpose. So if you have been struggling to find your purpose, even though you might have an illustrious career and that you're really good at something, if you have an underlying feeling like you're not fulfilling your life purpose, and by the way, if you have any questions, just post them below. If you feel like you're not fulfilling your life purpose, then this video is for you. I wish I had a ponytail so I could just ponytail it back. Don't think about your hair. Okay. Focus. So back to what we want to do. The one thing that we can't do or we mustn't do if we want to become the change, there is one caveat, is that we can't look outside of ourselves for validation, affirmation, confirmation, because, yep, Gandhi said that. I think he did. Some people say he did or he didn't, but it works either way. So we can't look outside of ourselves for validation, confirmation, and affirmation if we want to be the change, because the things that we see outside of ourselves are not reflecting necessarily, when we're in that state, not reflecting our internal value system, our integrity, and what we wish the world could potentially be, like heaven on earth, for example. So, I mean, I am kind of, I have talked about this before a little bit, but in a very different way. What I'd like to do is give you tools, so that you can, what Craig said, have life lessons, good life lessons. So here we go. Let's talk about those tools and talk about life. So I don't know how to put this. I want to say it in the mildest way so that it doesn't come across too harsh. However, the level of integrity that we see outside of ourselves is the exact degree that we adhere to it within ourselves. I just want to repeat that. So whatever we're experiencing is heavily influenced by our belief systems and how well we adhere to our belief systems, how well we have integrity within ourselves. So let's just say you know for yourself that if you do this, this, and that, or you don't do this, this, and that, that it actually puts you in a really good mood, on the right track, in the right trajectory, and you are achieving your goals. However, we can't, thank you, Miguel. However, we can't, thank all of you, we can't get to where we want to go without staying steadfast to what we are supposed to be doing. I know that it's really cold out everywhere. It's really cold where I am too, to be honest. But I do want to get back focused to the topic. So basically, if you cannot adhere to your own value system and integrity, it makes it doubly challenging for you because you're seeing the outside world and it's kind of getting the best of you. So I want you to get the upper hand in life by sticking to your integrity. I want you to have a good life by sticking to the things that you value and know to be true, and by holding on to them and making them become a part of you and a part of your being, so that you can emanate your light and you can be authentic and you can express yourself and have influence on your world. So influence doesn't necessarily mean that it has to be on other people, but it could be impressing your influence upon your environment and how outcomes are going to be for you. You can actually manifest outcomes when you stick to things that you know are tried and true. And that's actually, truth be told, when I was growing up, I felt like I was more like a rebel. I really I didn't understand rules. I didn't really want to adhere to them. And I challenged them all the time. And I learned through experience that, there goes the light. I learned through experience that that's not a good idea. So I'm just going to grab my phone here for a second. Just give me 1 second. Fell down on the floor. I learned that that's not a good idea. So I did things the way I thought I should do them. And I did learn lessons, that's for sure. But you can bypass a lot of troubles in your life if you stick to what you know is going to work for you. I just want to know that everybody's here right now. Let me know with a Y that you can hear me and an N that you can't hear me. Okay, so I took some notes down to talk about this topic. So be the change that you want to see. You can do that by being your authentic self. You can be your authentic self by being consistent and sticking to the things. Thanks guys. Thank you, Cynthia, Holly, Karen, and Plimsoul, and Junior. Good to see you all. Nico, Michael, Jim. Okay, so again, how many of you are feeling powerless and hopeless to the things that you're seeing? Like when you're sitting at home by yourself, do you feel optimistic about the world and the things that are happening? Or do you feel powerless and that what you think and feel and expect is not manifesting? Which one do you feel in your life currently? When you wake up in the morning and when you're just moseying along your day. Karen feels optimistic. Excellent. Okay. Miguel says, I've read that we live in separate worlds, so we can change our world by changing ourselves. Right. I'm not sure where you're referring to or alluding to the separate world. However, you are absolutely correct in that you can change the world by changing yourself. And Yvonne says, be a lion, not a sheep, a leader, not a follower, never cared to fit in. Okay, I like this. Okay, this is good. Powerless due to COVID. Okay. Hey, let's address some of these things. Yes, absolutely. You want to make sure that you are empowered. However, being empowered doesn't mean that you're different or better than anyone else. Being empowered means that you're walking in sync with who you know to be. So at each step you take forward, you step forward confidently because you are being who you are at your core, which invariably is connected to God. You don't even have to worry about connecting to God if you can connect to your heart and to yourself within, your authentic self within, without layering, without protection, without feeling that you need to be better than anyone or any of those things. Maybe you do, maybe you don't, but in any case, to be authentic, you want to just move forward and being yourself. However, and some of you have got that, which is great. Some of you are saying, due to COVID times, when I feel powerless, I meditate and pray and get in tune with God's power, which is actually within. Excellent, Maria. Victoria says some days are great, some days are not good. I think that's natural. Mary says stuck in health issues. This is good. And a bit tentative feeling at times, but quiet mostly. Powerless due to COVID times. Let's talk about Parvastone, the river. There are a lot of people who are feeling powerless due to COVID times. Where is my elastic? I need my elastic. However, I do want to say that without denying that these worldly issues have happened, but can I ask you truthfully, do you think that the world has never confronted adversity or challenging times? And if you believe that the world has experienced adversity and challenging times in the past, let me know an example of what humans have experienced, some adversity that they've experienced in the past. Not today, but in the past. Let me know. It's important. It's important in the conversation. Cynthia has a bit of cognitive dissonance to be growing spirituality while concerned about social changes in the material world. Good. And got stuff, stop finally catching this live. Good. Okay. So you tell me something that's happened before on Earth. There have been wars, Craig says. There's been weather. There's been famine. There have been plagues. And there's been the Spanish flu. There's been all those things, right? And we came out of that, right? So we came out because we had integrity in what we believed, and we worked together collectively to overcome as human beings so that we could survive. Now, not everybody has the highest level of integrity, but that's not our concern. Our concern is not everyone else. Our concern is to each step have that integrity within ourselves. And truth be told, yeah, that as well, Jim, happened. So once we I found a clip. Once we figured it out, what did we do? The river says, we have not lived these challenges in the past, such as the Spanish flu. Correct, but they're here now. And I've got some news for you. I'm just going to put this clip in. I've got some news for you. Damn, I missed a piece. It's going to happen over and over because the nature of the earth is that things happen. So without trying to be pessimistic or frightening anyone, but, at some point in time, we're either going to be hit by another planet, or we're going to be hit by an asteroid, or something like the black hole's going to come along and recycle us. These things are going to happen. We're that smart now. We're in a very special time. Like I wrote in the email, we're in a very special time that we are intelligent enough to understand that things are going to happen. Before, we didn't. We just thought that when things happened, that it was some evil being that was causing these things to happen. However, it is not. These are things that do happen by the nature of reality of living on earth. So it's not what happens, it's how we recover from what happens. And that's my whole story today, is that be the change you want to see. And so in the Spanish flu, for example, or any of these crises that we've experienced in our lives, the way that we got through them is through believing, through faith, through integrity, through working together, and through advancing through a one cause. And that's what I'm proposing today that we do. When you work collectively as a group of souls, you begin to go from inertia to energy to momentum to healing. So it's important that we don't stay in the mindset of woe is me, times are terrible, I feel powerless at what we want to do, and we don't want to refer to the outside world as to what is possible for us. We want to refer to the kingdom within, and that's the kingdom that Jesus talked about, and there are other religions that talk about going within the inner child. Even modern psychology today talks about going within and healing the inner child. And that is exactly what I'm talking about today, regardless of which method that you wanted to get to the same place to. We today are going to talk about how you and me and collectively all of us can create a vibration through holding on to integrity and being an example to those around us. Let me give you a really fun example of what I'm talking about. Have you ever been on an airplane where, there's some turbulence and there's people around you and they immediately start looking to you for reactions to see if it's okay to be afraid or if they're going to be okay? Has this ever happened to you? Have you ever been on an airplane where there is turbulence and you see that there's people looking and they're looking for validation, affirmation, and they're looking to see if they're going to be okay through looking at the outside? You let me know with a why, yes, if you've ever experienced that before, or if you've actually ever done that. I'm glad you enjoy turbulence, and now I do too. Good for you. Hold on a second. And by the way, I have a surprise for the super chats today. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but I do have a surprise for you. Yes, Cynthia says, and Got Stuff says, strange, 6 comments during times and 11 equals 6. Okay. Yes. So The world is like an airplane going through turbulence, and people on the plane are looking around to see how they should be feeling. And if you are a leader, you are a change maker, you are an influencer, you are a spiritual being, which I know you are. That's why you're here. I know that unequivocally. The thing is, how much influence do you want to have? How much change do you want to relay to the world? And by the way, this is a caveat I need to tell you. Change isn't telling people that they're right or wrong or what they should do. Change is being so reflective and eminent, like you are just pushing out faith, confidence, love, that you transform and transmute the energy around you and those around you. And they become confident, and they become healed through your power. So we are on this airplane, and we are in it together, and we've hit some turbulence, and now what we're doing is some of us are looking around and some of us stay calm. And when I'm on an airplane lately, I've been on so many that I understand that the air is like a river and is going to create some turbulence, some bumps along the way, and I get that. Maybe an accident happens, maybe it doesn't, but I also have a tremendous amount of faith that when it's my time, it's my time. So those two things combined, when I'm sitting on a plane and there's turbulence and people are around me are afraid, I smile and I let them know things are going to be good, like not in a weird way. I just mean I'm just calm. And I contribute to the calm energy because I know it's going to be fine either way. And that's what I encourage you to do. The question is, which role do you choose to play? Are you going to be the individual that buckles under pressure? Will you be the individual that looks outside of yourself for affirmation, confirmation, and what to do next? Or will you tap in to the inner kingdom, your inner child, whichever philosophy that you subscribe to? Will you go within and generate power and connection through your belief system and integrity? And guess what? It takes a certain amount of discipline and adhering to your belief systems in order to have that kind of peace. You have to have a commitment to your faith. And what I mean by faith is your personal belief and connection with God. I'm going to read some comments now. God Stuff Stoppa says, yes, calming energies is extremely powerful and should be generated amongst others. Sure, when you are amongst others, you want to generate and be the influencer. You want to influence people in a positive way. Why? Number one, I mean, if you look at the very foundation of that concept, it helps you because they're reflecting calmness back to you first. And then secondly, it's generating and helping them in their hearts. And third, collectively, you're connecting with all of those people to generate a vibration of health, prosperity, wealth, and goodness. So this is really important if we truly do want to have that kind of life, right? Let's talk about, let's see. Shelly G, if you're around here, just any inappropriate comments, just remove them, please. Thank you. Holly says, I believe our angels are helping us and will do so if we ask. Yes, absolutely. You know, Holly, you bring up a really good point. And God Stuff, I'm going to get to you right next because I like your comment too. Holly, you bring up a really good point. In order for our angels to help us, we have to ask. In order for Jesus to help us, we have to ask. Now, we do have guardian angels that have been assigned to us that help us regardless. They're always on the sidelines and around us, waiting to help facilitate our path forward. And I'm so grateful. And truth be told, you also have the opportunity to act angelic and help others and be there. And I'm sure you've done that before. I'm sure that you have been a supportive force before. Really good point, Holly. We do have to ask. And when we do ask, why do we have to ask? Why doesn't Jesus and the angels come rushing in? It has to do with your free will and who you want to be. Like, you have power, and your power is your free will, and it's a free will to create and co-create. And when you decide to oppose or stay away or stand away from what is good, that's your choice, and you're generating that momentum in the opposite direction. Okay, so Got Stuff says people can easily be distracted by negative energies from music. You can see it in protests. Right. So that's a really good point, you know. I wasn't planning on going in that direction, but since it came up, you have a really good point. When people are listening to music in particular, because music is invisible, right? But it's a vibration that can be felt. So you can't see it, but you can hear it. You can feel it too. Not only can you hear it, but you can feel it. So the intention behind the vibration in the music that you listen to, and the lyrics that you are listening to, are seeping into your consciousness and to your subconsciousness and creating an energy around your body. So that's a good point. I frequently decide not to listen to certain kinds of music and listen to other kinds of music because it makes me feel better, and I don't want to be influenced by a vibration that isn't in sync with mine. I'm not going to say it's bad. I'm just going to say it's not in sync with mine. Holly says, yes, I mostly listen to instrumental music without lyrics. I often find myself doing that. And just a funny side note, personal, I'll be in the car and my husband will be listening to something. I'm like, no, we got to turn it off. He'll be like, why? It's such a good song. Why do we have to turn it off? Why do you have to do that? And the reason being is because oftentimes he says he can't hear the lyrics. I do. And I don't want to hear about troubles and breakups and all that kind of stuff, because that's not what I want to invite into my life. So a really good practice is to keep energetic hygiene around you through creating first, through praying and meditating, and creating an environment within you that you're really tapping into the heaven within, the kingdom within, your faith within, your integrity within, sticking to it. And believe it or not, when you stick to habits that you know are going to be good for you, it actually makes you more powerful, more energetic, more magnetic, and you start to draw in those excellent things into your life. And the reverse is true. When you start to not do the things that you know are good for you in particular, it actually unravels all that goodness. Okay, I'm glad you're liking the live stream. And Karen says, haha, I'm the same way. Yvonne says, no WAP in my house. Okay, and you have to explain what WAP is. Holly K says, we can't afford a negative thought. Correct. Craig says, as a teenager, I preferred instrumentals over vocals. Excellent. 100%. From God Stuff. Holly says, yes, I'm mostly listening. Okay. Jim says, etc. Food, drink, and music. Yes. So let's talk about drink for a second. Now, keep in mind, I am not saying that you shouldn't drink, and I'm not saying you shouldn't do things. However, if, for example, you drink alcohol and it makes you feel like you don't have full, if it doesn't make you feel that it's generating authenticity and goodness and empowerment within you, but you continue to do it, what it does is it subconsciously sabotages your efforts to move forward in your life. Again, it's the intention behind the action. So I want to be very clear. I'm not judging or telling you what to do. I know that you all know what to do. You don't need me to tell you what to do. But if there are those influences, it erodes our sense of self. It's not about who you are to other people. That's a whole nother story. It's about feeling empowered, fresh, renewed, healing, healthy, authentic, wealthy in every aspect of ourselves, which has nothing to do, it has to do with energy and not necessarily money. Alcohol just kills the physical pain. Right. So, but the question is, if that's the truth, obviously I will not be monetizing this because we're going into hot topics. So let's go all the way. Let's go all the way. Okay. So yes. Well, why are we trying to kill the pain, right? Instead of trying to kill the pain or anesthetize the pain, why don't we discover where it's coming from? And generally speaking, it's coming from anxiety and not feeling ourselves and feeling powerless and feeling like the world is unraveling in front of us. But you can actually control the outside by managing the inside, managing who you are to yourself and your integrity, and sticking by your belief systems and not eroding who you think you are. This is why it's important to be good. It's not important to be good for the sake of accolades or that people like you or that you are influential in that regard. No, because that's like building a castle, a sand castle, and the first wave that comes, it's gone. But building on a foundation that connects you with your creator and God, with the truth. And remember, at the beginning of this, we talked about the truth never changes. There are some things that change, and the truth never changes. So again, I don't need to tell you what those truths are, but I will say that those activities erode our confidence in ourselves because Okay, I got a super chat from Holly, and this is what I'm gonna do. I've been dying to try this out. So just one sec. Let me do. Where did it go? Here it is. Okay, I'm gonna just do this. I don't know if you could hear that, but I could hear that, and that was an applause, and thank you so much. I really do appreciate it, and it was something I really wanted to try. There's some other noises here too, which I will try out later on with some other super chats. If you do, whoa, that was very generous. I just saw what that was last time. When you guys were super chatting, I didn't see, and I'm sorry if I didn't see. I'm grateful. I truly am. It really is helpful. Thank you so much. Okay, so moving back into, you did hear it, good stuff. Got stuff. Mary says, cute. Wow, a little tiny applause section on your desk. Yes. So the reason I came today is because I came on. I actually want to let you know that I might be missing next week. Not sure, but I might be because I'm going to be traveling back home. I'm so excited to be going back home. And it's been a long time since I've been home, and I can't wait to smell the fresh air there and the trees. There are so many beautiful, beautiful trees where I live, and the whales. I think I'm missing out on some of the, like there's this time where all these eagles, seagulls, and sea lions come to the shore. It's happening probably today, and they all collect together, and it's just the most magnificent energy. You want to talk about energy? It's fresh, brisk air with big waves and really big winds and tons of eagles, and just imagine the eagles coming and with their talons and getting the fish. And yeah, it's thank you for wishing me safe travels. But that's the kind of thing that lights up my soul, is to see nature. It is in Canada, yes. That's the kind of, on the west coast, northwest coast, that's the kind of energy that really shows me God's power, is when I feel the forces of nature, and it really stirs up healing inside of my soul, but it also stokes a fire of wanting to take action. It makes me feel emotional. Wanting to take action to make things right, make things good in my life and the lives of the people that I can touch through this beautiful medium, of which I'm really excited about. I wanted to create this environment where we can use the power of energy to move forward without judgment. And hey, who here hasn't done stuff that is probably not in our best interest? I know I have. And I'm actually getting to the point finally where I can repeat the cycle of following through on integrity. I never really understood the word integrity. I thought integrity was something that was kind of like acting a certain way. Integrity isn't acting a certain way. Integrity is being, thinking, saying, and doing the person who you truly are inside, who you've always been, who you were born to be. Okay, Cape Town, nice. Yeah, don't you guys just love where you live, where you were born? Doesn't it just resonate with you, the energy of that place? The best things in life are in nature. Cynthia is laughing. Okay, so Plimsoll says, the way you interpret your environment or the outside world is what causes pain. Best to turn off the news. Well, you see, those mediums of the news, for example, thrive on what we put value on. So wherever we put our attention is where it's going to be perceived as valuable. And to our dismay, for example, when you watch television and you see, I mean, I don't even want to talk about it, but I don't need to tell you what's on there, but whatever is on there is due to popular demand. So it's not those people are bad because they're placing that, is that where our attention goes, it grows. So if we move our attention away from that and onto the more powerful things like the power of nature, the power of goodness, the power within ourselves, our personal integrity, our creativity, which brings me to my next point. We all came here on earth for a reason, and it wasn't to suffer, believe it or not. There is some suffering that's going to go on. I like to think of it more as corrective suffering, where our through suffering we can find our way more, because it's like when you're a kid. If you go too far this way, or if you touch an element, or if you do things, you're going to feel that pain. But it's not. Life isn't meant to be painful. It's meant to be joyful. It's meant to allow us to move through our lives. And if it's not joyful, then we can change it. And that's the whole idea behind be the change that you want to see. Okay, Mary Mayer. Had chronic pain for 7 years and don't really ever watch the news. I keep trying to find the reason, but haven't found it yet. Mary, I would like your permission to share what my belief system is around that, if that's okay. I want to be very graceful and thoughtful towards you and compassionate, because it is really like a crystal. Like if you look at a snowflake, and a snowflake has a pattern and it's crystallized. When we get into pain, we become a pattern and we become crystallized in our energy. You've probably heard of those scientific experiments where water is influenced by our feelings, thoughts, and the water will change in its formation, in its crystallized formation. Now, your body is the same. So if who you are being and your thoughts and your emotions and your feelings, like even here right now, again with compassion, you're telling, this is how you are showing up for us. Like you could say anything in the world, and the first foot you want to lead with is this situation. I understand, because it feels like a house on fire. However, when we continue to lead with a house on fire, then that's what appears to be all around us. Now, that's not your fault. It's not a judgment. It's just that we are empowered with the ability to affect change. And if there are some things we cannot change, then we must pray for change. If there are things that are beyond, isn't that in the Lord's Prayer? One of the verses in the Lord's Prayer. Hi, Super Cheryl. Good to see you. In the Lord's Prayer, it talks about and forgive us our, and if you want to, Shelly G, if you're around, if you're not working, if you want to just post the Lord's Prayer here, you can. But in one of those verses, it talks about praying for the things that you cannot change. And what I'd like to do is I would like to encourage you, Mary, is to know that you're very loved and that we all want for you to find a new and better way of healing and being. And one of the best ways I've found personally is to connect with nature. And it's not as though And it's not as though I haven't been in pain. Actually, can I share something with you? So, and this is specifically for you, okay? And anybody else who wants to hear this. Mary, I used to suffer from chronic sciatica, like so bad that I couldn't get up. Sometimes I just had to stay laying down, and it was just monopolizing my life for years. And I couldn't move. It actually made me, the pain actually made me want to cry. That's how painful it was. And at the same time, simultaneously to that, I was going through some of the deepest, darkest times of the personal struggles for me. And it finally dawned on me that there was a relationship between my personal internal struggle of being away from who I wasn't, being who I was meant to be. I wasn't living my purpose. And it was embedded in my being, in my physical body. The pain that was happening in my physical body was my body saying to me, no, this isn't working, Silvia. This isn't going to work. And I'm going to make sure, just like the child that touches the element, and it's wrong for anyone to touch an element and they pull away. I was harboring and holding on to thoughts that were not in alignment or productive for my well-being and healing. So it's not about blaming yourself. It's about discovering yourself. It's about exploring new options with the kingdom within you. It's about finding new ways of being and letting go of some of those belief systems that weren't working. This is another fascinating. I want to use myself as an example because I think it's better to use an example of yourself. So I was harboring pain and I did not feel supported. And your spine, incidentally, is the place, particularly your low back where I was feeling pain, is what carries you through life. It's what supports your weight. It's the actual center of gravity that supports your weight. So there was a direct relationship between that sciatica and that pain, as well as the pain that I was holding on to. There's a lot of people that understand chakras and energetic healing and those methodologies, and I would not call myself an expert in that field. However, I don't have that pain anymore. And anytime I do have that pain, I examine everything in my life, from the sleep, the eating, my integrity as I walk through my day, my thoughts that I have, anything that I am doing, thinking, being, and believing. I examine those things and I reevaluate who I want to be in my life, because physical pain is actually a reminder of an imbalance that's happening in our lives. So hopefully you took that with compassion and with love, and it's simply my perspective. Please make reference to your internal belief system for the answer for you, and of course pray to God. Okay. Whoa, super chat from Shelly G. Thank you so much for your generous super chat. Hold on, let's see what we got here. Whoa. I had not heard that before. That might be a bit lame. Let's do the different one. There you go. Thank you so much for that super chat. And yeah, I felt very emotional saying that. And one of the reasons why I am so pain is something that is of paramount importance is that my mother, who turns out to be my greatest teacher in this life, I don't know, all the people, even you guys, but my mother was close to me, and she often through her life had a lot of pain, and that pain became a distance between her and I, and it became something that stood in the way. Like, she was constantly wishing to get rid of the pain, to go away, to not be alive, to do all these things, and because of it. And I just want people to know that you are in control. You are empowered. You do have the power to heal. It is within you to find that space. And once you do, There's a beautiful world waiting out there for you with tons of people who love you and people who want to connect with you. And it really is about you, that person on the airplane. Who are you going to be? Are you going to be that influencer for good, calm, and peace and well-being and prosperity? Which one will it be? Okay, let's read pain produces power, right? So it's a trajectory. Pain can be powerful in the sense where it can show you the direction in which to move in. It could be our friend that shows us the direction. If you are in a painful relationship, for example, move away from that direction. It's something to guide us. I guess like a grid to guide us away from it. Okay, let's take a look. Good, calm, and peace. Yay. Faith, belief, no doubt. Absolutely. Yes, art. Doing art is good therapy. Yes, it is. You know, because art focuses on creativity. And you know what, you guys? You're here to be creative. You're here to be creative. Super chat from Craig. Thank you very much. Craig, let's see two things. A, how creative we could be with the sound. No, I don't like that one. No, I like this one. All right. So I'm going to have to really get a collection here. And also, I've learned that I could put things on my screen. And one of the things I'm going to do is put you guys on here. Do you see what I could do? I forgot that I could do this. And then let's see, Craig's on here. Thank you. All right, so I'll be pulling those. The bulb horn was great, actually. Okay, good. So let's get back to being and becoming our best selves. And while I'm here, I just want to interject and remind people to sign up to my newsletter because I'm going to be offering some really cool stuff coming up. And that's on my website, silviaisachsen.com. And I really want to connect with you guys on that level in between, especially if I'm away for a week, because I will be traveling. And oftentimes what I like to do, this is a really good example of what I'm talking about. I'm going to be traveling and I know it's going to be, potentially stressful. I have a lot of things. I don't want to forget things. I want to, pack and remember. And why would I want to put an extra load? Why would you want to put an extra load on yourself? Why not move and take the path of least resistance in terms of flowing with your responsibilities and the things that you want to do? Now, I would like to open this up. I want to ask you guys something. First of all, check this out. This is so cool. Keep in mind that this image I got the day before I had the dream of Jesus. I got this image. I don't know if you can see it, but the energy coming through Christ's heart there and his hand position. So it really reminds me of our own potential, of our own energy. Did you know your heart actually creates a magnetic field? Scientifically proven, creates a magnetic field around your body. And it's an energetic field that people can sense for 100 feet away from you, I believe. I can't remember the exact, but they can feel it coming. They can feel your vibration. So this conversation, this spiritual conversation, has basis in science too. All right. So it's the good. Okay, I want to tell you something funny. Now, I was debating on whether to tell you this, but I will. So in the evenings, I've been trying to give myself a little bit of a break this whole week. So I started watching something on Netflix, which I normally don't do, and I was watching The Crown. And have you guys ever seen The Crown? The show The Crown? It relates to spirituality, and it relates to our conversation. And actually, I was really excited to see some of the tenets in it. But let me know if you ever watched The Crown. Good for you, Mary. But let me know if you have. So The Crown is, and of course, all of the stuff happening around the royal family right now. I didn't want to talk about that. I don't have an opinion, and it doesn't matter to me. I specifically want to talk about the Queen. So within the context of watching, what I noticed is that she has a strong belief in God, and so all these things would be happening to her from here and there, like pressures to change with the times, to be more contemporary, to allow for things to evolve, for example, in the realm of divorce. This is not a judgment. I need to make clear because I don't know everybody who's here on the channel, but I know there's a lot of people watching. But okay, good. Mary said something. Yes. I want to address your thing again, Mary, but I want to talk about this. So anyhow, a lot of people are moving in that direction. Okay. Anyhow, there are some things that you don't need to change with the times. You're okay, Gabriella. You can watch it again and you can participate. We're still going. Some things you don't need to change with the times, and those are things that you know are going to be okay. And it's the things that you change with the times that usually erode your confidence and your well-being and your health and all of those things. It's when we live by nature and by our faith within ourselves that we are going to be okay and on the right track. It's as soon as we go outside of the track of doing things that we know are not good for us, that we think that if we just do it a little bit, that it's going to be okay, or if we just bend this rule, or if we just act this way, or if we just, and then we start to convince ourselves that a little bit's fine and so does it, so it's all right. It's not okay. And you should continue to follow through on the things that you know are good for you all the time. And, when you're younger, it seems as though it's more evident that you know what's right or wrong. Agree with me. Let me know. Or maybe you don't agree with me. Let me know how you feel about this. When you were a kid, did you not know for certain that things were right or wrong? And as you get older, the lines start to blur because we see other people doing it, or maybe we've tried it. And okay, we're coming back to this. Maybe we've tried it. I don't want to be distracted, but I can see that people are concerned for Mary. Okay, so I'm going to talk one more time about health and healing. And you may or may not know that I actually have from university a certificate in health and fitness studies and health and well-being. And I spent 27 years of my career prior to this on focusing on the human body. I've even written an anatomy and physiology book, and I've learned about healing, different modalities, spiritual healing, as well as physical healing, as well as therapies, as well as health food therapies, and all of these. That's actually been one of my passions, well, many of my passions to go through. And the reality is that sometimes our identity, this is going to be a hard line because the conversation is continuing. Sometimes we make sickness our identity. And I want to let you know passionately that if health is what you want, don't make sickness your identity, because if you lead with it, it draws a lot of attention to it, and it also grows. If you truly want out of it, you can't make it your identity, and you can't subscribe to it, and you can't believe in it. This is what faith is all about. And let me go back to the master of faith. And of course, I just want everyone to know I have a very strong faith in Jesus Christ, and I don't belong to any particular religion, but hear me closely. By your faith, and to the degree of your faith, you are healed. Those words were said by the master, and they are the truth, and they never change. So remember, by your faith, you are healed, not by 100 million things. And let me just back that up. If you watched Anita Morjani's near-death experience, this is a woman who was dying of lymphoma, who was pronounced by her doctor as going to be dying in hours. And with lymphoma, a very severe form of cancer, this woman went from dying to alive because she had a glimpse of the other side of reality, and her faith in God and her faith on the other side made her whole. So I'm very adamant about this, and I want you to know, if you're serious about sickness, don't make it a part of your life. Don't make it a part of your identity. believe with 100% faith, and move forward. That is the only way through it. Talking about it, glamorizing it, making it part of a conversation, making it the center of attention, making it a part of your life will only bring more of it. It will only bring more of it. I know it's passionate, and if you, me, all of us truly want health, we will live by the laws of nature. We will walk, we will exercise, we will drink healthy water, eat healthy food. We will do our best within our capacity, but even more importantly, we will have faith that we are whole. And that's all I got to say about that. Okay, yes, praying for healing. This is major truth. Jesus healed. He didn't reinforce illness or weakness. Correct. Like it, Shay says in season 3, when Philip is intrigued by the astronauts, yet after meeting them, he feels empty, and later he's driven towards the fathers of the church, whom he first shunned away very strong. Shay, I'm glad that you brought that up. Let's go back. I know we jumped for a moment, talked about healing, but let's go back to the crown. Basically, the queen kept going back to her faith, and I have a whole newfound admiration because when you stick by your principles and your beliefs and your integrity, you do become whole. And when you don't allow eroding of your integrity by doing and being what you're uncomfortable with, you feel confident and you feel powerful. No matter what's happened in the past, you find it easy to forgive yourself because today you are adhering to what is right and good for you. And that's not to say I can't tell you what's right and good for you. All I can tell you is that when you do step and walk in that integrity, you are going to feel so confident no matter what is behind you. Because we all have stuff behind us that doesn't matter anymore, doesn't materialize anymore, isn't material anymore, doesn't exist anymore. What's here and now and forward, that's where we're moving. That is our trajectory. And that's where we need to be. We can't be stuck and crystallized in the past. We need to be here in the now with the same integrity that carries us along the way, like the wind beneath our wings. And I wish you a blessed day, and I hope that your faith makes you strong, and I hope that you stick to your personal integrity and who you are and strengthen the being that you are, because it really is the source of joy. It really is the fountain of youth. It truly is. And when I say the fountain of youth, the fountain of energetic youth, because energy is what keeps us animated and keeps us going on any dimension, in any mansion of our Father's house, anywhere we go. And when we have that confidence of integrity, when we die, or when we pass or move into other dimensions, we will feel confident and we won't be anticipating the worst. We'll be anticipating the best because we know we are doing our best. And that's why we need to be good. Thank you for the safe travels, Yvonne. Thank you, Maria. Many blessings for your Canada visit, Sylvia. Thank you so much. I'm going back home. Canada is my home, but I love traveling abroad, but I am looking forward to going home. Bruce Lipton, another great source of information and empowerment. Excellent. A lot of people told me about Bruce Lipton. I don't know who he is. I haven't read. And what I try to do is I try to just go within my heart. And I encourage you to do that too. Listen and watch, but really pay attention to inside of your heart, because you are going to find that you are a wealth of information. Have a great trip. Thank you. Thank you for giving your knowledge and love. Thank you, Got Stuff. Karen, super cherry, yes, and hearts. Thank you. Crispy, wow, Sylvia, what you say is very wise. Thank you. All right, well, you know I care about you all, and you know I'm wishing you all well, and I will see you maybe next week. I might miss, but I'll be here the week after. We'll talk to you soon. Thank you, and don't forget to sign up to my newsletter, because while I'm away, I'm going to let you know on the background of the travel how it goes, and I'll post it right here. There we go. Thank you. Thank you, RR.